Well, welcome to Sharing Our Stories, our Inman First Baptist podcast. I'm Jeremiah Childers.
And I'm Kelly Kirksey.
A little bit of a disclaimer. We are recording this in the afternoon, after lunch, on the third rainy day in a row. It's cold outside, and I'm just going to be honest, I'm a little sleepy. How you feeling, Kelly?
I'm a little bit tired, too.
So if I yawn, if my eyes start to get heavy, please forgive us. We're doing this in the afternoon, normally when we don't do our podcast.
But I've got my coffee. I'm ready to go.
Well, one of the things that we're asking our intergenerational groups to do this week is to share any story they want to share about themselves with the group as a gift. And as I thought about that, I thought about a lot of different stories in my life. I'm sure you've thought about some of the stories in your life. And there's so many things that we could share with our group. So I thought I would share the story that essentially tells about me, but tells something that is uncharacteristic about me.
Oh, okay. I'm
So
interested.
Kelly, you've known me for a while.
Oh, kind of a long time, actually.
Would you say I'm a safe person or a person that takes chances?
I would definitely say safe.
I'm a safe person. I don't take a lot of chances. I like to stick around the house a good bit.
A homebody, for sure.
Homebody. So I thought I'd tell the story of when I took the biggest gamble.
Whoa.
Big
Like a real gambling?
No, not
No, don't get crazy here, okay? We don't do that kind of stuff.
No money's involved.
No money's involved, okay?
I'm safe, but a safe person, and I'm a very frugal person, so money's never going to be
No,
involved.
money cannot be involved.
Take
No.
a chance. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll go back in time to 15 years ago.
Okay.
And I just came to Inman.
Mm-hmm.
I've been here,
Young Jeremiah.
young Jeremiah,
Just a baby.
26, 27.
Oh, my goodness.
Just got to Inman, first day at the church. I tell my testimony. From my testimony, I have the church, they call me. And at the end of the service, after the service, this very beautiful woman comes up and shakes my hand. And I think to myself, don't look at her anymore.
Don't look at her anymore.
Because I just got called.
Right. You're like, look, she's part of the church.
Part of the church.
I'm a minister.
I don't know her story.
Don't talk to her.
I'm not going to talk to her. Just,
She's too pretty for me.
yes. So a week or two goes by, and I see her again, and she's very, very nice to me. And I'm like, boy, these people in Inman are so nice.
She's so nice to me. Why is she so nice to me?
And then like a week later, I'm at a funeral, and she comes in with her family, and she sees me, and she's like, comes and sits beside me
Whoa.
at a funeral.
You're like, this is not a date, my friend.
And, I'm like, okay. And she's like, would you like to get coffee sometime?
She's asking you on a date at a funeral. Now, there's not a lot of people that can share that kind of a story. Like,
Yeah.
I'm asking you on a date at a funeral.
Well, and I thought, gosh, people in Inman are so...
Oh, you were like, she's so nice. She just wants to be my friend.
Just wants to be
Yes.
friendly.
This beautiful lady.
Beautiful ladies. Just so
It's just like, wow, this guy's just joined the
So
church.
it's been about 4 weeks at the church now. And I'm like, okay. I talked to Lane Wilson. Lane Wilson will... tell
Oh,
you the
good old
story.
Lane.
Lane, I need to know a little bit about the situation.
Give a little backstory.
Lane says, thumbs up.
That's all he says?
I can't remember what he said. Thumbs up.
I mean, I could see Lane just being like, oh, boom,
Thumbs up.
covered.
So I was like, okay, well, not too much longer. She calls and says, I'm going to go visit somebody at the hospital. Would you like to go with me? And,
These are like the best date options ever.
and I'm like, okay, still super nice person.
Yeah. And she likes to visit people at the hospital.
I found out
It's a win.
she's not married. She doesn't in a relationship. I did find out later she was dating somebody, but quickly.
Oh,
So if you haven't been listening, this is the story of Amber.
yes.
Me and Amber started dating, and so we went out on kind of our first date. We went and seen Jim Barry in the hospital, and then went and had dinner after that in Spartanburg, and went out a few more times. And I thought to myself, okay, this could go two ways. Here's the gamble. We could date and things could go really well, or we could date and it could go bad. And her dad at the time was chairman of the deacons.
Ooh,
Her brother was on my search team.
you were gambling.
It was the biggest gamble of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, you know what? I've only been here about 6-8 weeks now.
I may only be here 6-8 more. if this doesn't go right.
But I was like, she's the kind of person that you would gamble on.
Oh,
So I gambled and made the gamble, and it has worked out beautifully. We have been married 14 years, got a daughter, and over again, I'll think to myself, like, Jeremiah, you really aren't the kind of person that took gambles like that.
mm,
But it also took her asking me out over and over.
yeah,
Because I just would. But as I've thought about that story, one of the things I've thought about is, in that moment of being at a younger age, only being here a short time, things could have not gone well. But sometimes it's because you are listening and discerning God's will in your life that you're willing to take those gambles.
Mm-hmm.
And I really did pray about before we really started dating serious and before things got. But it didn't take long for us to date till I knew that she
was it.
was it. She's the only one.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not a complex story. For some people, they're kind of meeting their significant other may have like a big grand story. But mine was just this sense of, okay, it's Inman. Love Inman, don't get me wrong. Small town, small church in terms of, who you're going to meet.
Yeah,
And first day, meet the love of my life.
there you go.
And it was just as I think about that story over and over again, me and Amber have talked about it. I always made sure that when I would go over to her house, that 8:45 rolled around, I was out of that house because I knew people were watching. But those things, as you look back, you think, Jeremiah, you took a big gamble.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I didn't really think about how big it was.
Yeah,
But it was a big gamble because, it just was.
yeah.
It's a beautiful gamble. So tell me a story, like it could be about who you are, anything, Kelly. What story would you like to gift the group to?
Well, I can tell you a funny story. I have shared a lot of my stories, I feel like, over the last few semesters. And so but this is one I haven't shared yet. It's kind of a family tale. So when I was probably in second and third grade, somewhere around there, we played church basketball. We love church basketball. We all played them. Played it, and this was back when church basketball wasn't like everybody got a participation award. It was like we had a tournament at the end. So you wanted to do well, like you needed to win to get into the tournament, and then people would win the tournament. And so, you always had parents that had big feelings about church ball. And so I went that morning. For those of y'all that don't know, sometimes, not often, but sometimes I'm a little forgetful. Sometimes. I will say that on the regular, people find my coffee mugs around the church. And they know whose they are. Because if you see a coffee mug around the church, it's probably mine. Or if you see a cell phone in the fellowship hall, as Julie Settle will tell you, it is always mine.
Or the parking lot.
Or the parking lot. That's right. Dr. Moore did find it one time in the parking lot. So, but that's good. If you find something, there's a solid chance it's mine. You just bring it to me. You know where to go. Anyway, so I can be a little bit forgetful. And this is not something new to my life. I am a really good finder. So if you ever lose something and you need someone to find it, I'm the person to call because I can find things really well because I've spent my entire life looking for stuff. So one day we were going to play church basketball and we got ready and we went to the game, and I'm out there on the court, like playing my little heart out. And I thought I need to pull my shorts down. Like, I don't know. I thought they were riding up or something, like I was like, they're getting too high. I reach up to pull my shorts down and I just keep reaching because I forgot to put my shorts on that day. That is what happened. And I realized it about halfway through the game. Not even at the beginning. Like, I'm already out there playing my little heart out. And I'm like, oh, I have no shorts on. And so all of a sudden, once you become aware of something, you're not out there. Okay, to be clear, my jersey is very long.
Okay.
Like I think back in the day, they didn't have like children's size jerseys. So you got adult sizes. And I was little. And so like it was down,
Yeah.
But I all of a sudden was like, I'm not putting my arms up anymore. I will run at a trot. There will not be sprinting down the court. I will not be falling down because this cannot be, the world cannot see what's happening here, okay? And so we get to the end of the game, and my dad is like, I cannot believe you. You did not defend. You were not playing as hard as you could. You were really not working very hard out there at all. And I said, I don't have any pants on. And my mom said, well, we're going to go eat. And I said, but I don't have any pants on. I'm like whispering, but I'm like, I don't know that you heard me. I do not have pants on. And my mom thinks that I maybe mean panties or something.
Yeah.
And she's like, you'll be fine. Let's go eat. I'm like, once again, I do not have any pants on. And so finally we get in the car to go to the restaurant. And I'm like, can we please stop by the house? Because I have no pants. And my mom was like, panties. And I was like, no, I do not have pants on. She was like, how do you forget your shorts? Like, did you just not put them on today? Did you not realize, like, when we got in the car, hey, I don't have any shorts on. When we got onto the court, hey, guess what? You don't have it. I was like, no, I realized halfway through the game. That's why I wasn't playing defense. And so it's always like a thing in our family is sort of now, like, you know what? We went on a trip. I lost a really expensive camera. And they're like,
Sarah Hanks is this camera.
I've lost one of ours.
Oh, yours and Sarah.
And I've lost Sarah Hanks' camera. Thanks be to God, Sarah Hanks is a kind, loving person and has a lot of grace. So but that's always the running joke is like, but look at you, you've got pants on,
That's great.
So, if you're having a little bit of a hard day, if you lose something, just think, I got pants on.
Could be worse. Could be worse.
Yeah.
As you were telling that story, I went back to my childhood, and I know I've already shared the story, but I think I'll share another one. When I was small, 4, 5, 6 years old, I did not know that my grandfather was a Santa Claus impersonator.
Uh-huh.
He went around and did Santa Claus engagements and stuff on the side, and I just didn't know that. They kept it from me.
Okay.
So one day we're still living in Gastonia before we ever moved to Shelby. And I can remember my mother getting frustrated with us. It's sometime in December that we've not cleaned our room. And over again, she keeps coming by, telling my brother and me, straighten up your room, straighten up your room. 5 or 6. You've had children. We don't listen at 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
Cleaning a room is tomorrow's problem, not today's problem.
That's future Jeremiah's issue.
Very much so. And I just remember like, okay, mom. A little bit later, the doorbell rings and mom says, boys, go answer the door. Why would mom want us to answer the door? We're 4, 5, 6 years old. We don't answer the door, but given the opportunity to do something new, we went to answer the door.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, as the door opens, is Santa Claus.
Uh-oh.
Standing right there in the flesh, with his arms crossed and his head going like...
What time of year was this? It was at Christmas time around. Okay.
He was obviously my grandfather was already out doing his...
Yeah, his thing.
His thing. And she must have talked to him, and he said he was going to swing by. And she said, they're not cleaning the room. So he looks at us and he shakes his hands. And his head, sorry. Shakes his head. And he points towards our room and does this, and we just run in there, we clean up the room.
They're like, do it as fast as you can. Christmas is not coming.
And we'd peek out our door to see if he was still in the living room, and he was just standing there like this the whole time. And we finally cleaned up, and by the time we got done cleaning up, he was gone.
Oh.
He never said anything.
He didn't tell you if it was good enough or not.
And we were like, Santa Claus showed up to tell us to clean our room.
Ugh.
We never saw her with him, so it was almost like she didn't know.
Yeah.
And she was like, really?
Oh, because she didn't come to the door with you.
No.
Oh.
So she's like, really? At least that's the way I remember it. Really? I was like, yeah. She's like, he knew we weren't cleaning up. We were going to be on the naughty list. And it was like a year or two later, we saw our papa doing a Santa Claus gig out and about at my dad's grocery store at the time. And he didn't have his gloves on. And we saw his rings. It was like, he's got the same rings as my papa.
Yeah.
And then,
Like, how strange.
and then like later that day, we're like, is he our papa? Kids are kind of gullible about things. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, but it was just one of those memories I can remember. Like, my mom was so smart about, not having to yell at us, but just an opportunity to say, hey, somebody else is watching too. It's not just
Yeah.
me.
Get it done.
And, we think about Santa Claus as kids and it's wonderful, but, it just is one of those funny memories that I have is, I'm sure they had a good laugh about it, like when we weren't around.
Yeah.
And, I could imagine my grandfather sitting around with his friends and telling that story and seeing the panic in our eye and how much we were sweating. Can you think of anything else you'd like to share?
No, I think,
You're good.
yeah, no.
Well, as we tell your stories, or as you tell your stories this week in your small groups, everybody gets to tell a unique story, a story that is personally to you. It can be about anything. And as you do, one of the things I hope that you'll think about is that God has called each of us who are unique in our own way.
Mm.
There's not one person, me and my brother are twins, and we're completely opposite. There's not one person that's exactly like another person.
Mm-hmm.
And yet God calls each of us. And one of the things I love about the Gospels is how Jesus goes to different kinds of people and asks each of them to follow him. I want to just read two passages out of Luke chapter 5. The first one is the call of the first disciples. Once while Jesus was standing beside the lake of Gennesaret, and the crowd was pressing in on him to hear the word of God, he saw two boats there at the shore of the lake. And the fishermen had gone out of them and were washing their nets. And he got in one of the boats and one belonging to Simon and asked him to put out a little way from the shore. Then he sat down and taught the crowds from the boat. When he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Put out into the deep water and let your nets for a catch." And Simon answered, "Master, we have worked all night long, but have caught nothing. Yet if you say so, I will let down the nets." When they had done this, they caught so many fish that their nets were beginning to break. So they signaled their partners in the other boat to come and help them. And they came and filled both boats so that they began to sink. But when Simon Peter saw it, he fell down at Jesus' knees, saying, "Go away from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man." For he and all who were with him were amazed at the catch of fish that they had taken. And so also were James and John, sons of Zebedee, who were partners with Simon. Then Jesus said to Simon, "Do not be afraid. From now on you will be catching people." When they had brought their boats to shore, they left everything and followed him. And I love the story. In Mark's gospel, it's kind of a quick Peter,
Yeah.
but here Luke tells us a little bit more, and Jesus is teaching and uses some boats. And so at some point during the day, before the day happens, he knows he's going to call Peter to come follow him. And Peter is amazed at all Jesus is doing and is too afraid that Jesus says, "Come." And I love that, Jesus picks ordinary people, fishermen. That day Peter probably was sweaty and stinky and probably was miserably tired.
Mm-hmm.
And yet Jesus saw in him something that was valuable
Yeah.
and said, "Come follow me." Not long after that, after he had went out and saw a tax collector named Levi sitting at the tax booth, and he said to him, "Follow me." And he got up and left everything and followed him. Then Levi gave a great banquet for him in his house, and there was a large crowd of tax collectors and others sitting at the table with them. And the Pharisees and the scribes were complaining to his disciples, saying, "Why do you eat and drink with tax collectors and sinners?" And Jesus answered, "Those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick. I have come to call not the righteous, but sinners to repentance." And I love, again, Jesus engages people that you normally wouldn't imagine being engaged. The tax collectors were hated by the people. They were in cahoots with the Romans. They were people that were probably making money off of other people's misfortune. And yet Jesus looks at him, says, "Come follow." Levi throws a banquet. I love that imagery. And he invites other people like him to come to the banquet to meet Jesus.
Uh-huh.
And there are people outside that get upset. And each of these stories and other stories throughout the Gospels, this Sunday we're going to be talking about Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus is an unlikely person, another tax collector that you wouldn't expect to come follow. Jesus goes to the woman at the well. Other places in the Gospels just remind us is Jesus is calling anybody and everybody who will come follow.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be necessarily special. That's the beautiful thing. Ordinary people. And as we've listened to each other's stories, and as you'll listen to stories this week in your small groups, know that each one of you, although you may feel like you are an ordinary person, and your stories maybe aren't as unique as you think they are, once you've shared them with others, other people hear them and realize that you are an amazing person. You have an amazing story. And God is calling, has called you, is calling you, and will continue to call you throughout your experiences. And when we have an opportunity to look backwards at both the happy stories and the sad stories, the funny stories, stories of no pants,
Yeah.
all of those stories remind us that God is active in our lives. And what a beautiful thing when we are able to share those stories as gifts with each other. Do you have any last thoughts, Kelly?
I was just thinking while you were reading that kind of about the story I shared and how, it is a funny story and we do talk about it in my family a lot. But, part of that story is kind of just the story of my life, which is that I do lose a lot of things. I am very forgetful. You can ask Will. He is long suffering and his patience knows no ends. And I'm so grateful for that. But it's an interesting thing because it's something small that you don't really think about it, but it has shaped a lot of my life. And that, I do have to go back for things a lot. I have to learn coping mechanisms for how to deal with things like that. And I think that at one point I wanted that to be fixed. If I would just be different. But kind of not embracing where it's like, oh, I just lose everything, but learning what I can learn in a way like, okay, well, this is how best to handle this, but I'm still going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And not getting upset when someone says, I found your coffee mug again, but just being like, that's cool. Yeah. Like it changes something from, I hate this about myself, to this is kind of just a lovable, funny quality about me. And that's okay. And so kind of looking at our stories and saying, just because it's different doesn't make it bad.
Yeah.
And that God loves me in that place.
Yeah.
And, that God can use the things that I don't even like about myself in building relationships with other people. I mean, I have a part of that for me is that it creates, I can't do it all alone.
Yeah.
Like I'll lock myself out of the car and Will has to come and get me or someone has to help me. I really need a village. And there is frustration in that because I would way rather be super independent and be able to do everything myself. But there's a real sacred beauty in that, in the people do for me and I do for them. And that creates a community that I wouldn't have otherwise if I could just say, well, I'll just do it by myself.
It's wonderful. Kelly.
So anyways, it's just a thought.
And I'm a kind of a person that likes things set in a set order. And for me to take a risk like with Amber, but I look backwards. Anytime I've made decisions that I feel God leading me to, whether it's called a ministry, going to seminary, visiting a Baptist church for the first time in college, all of those steps of faith are kind of things that happen that are outside of my normal comfort zone. And it really pushes me to lean on God to do those things. And for me, that's really hard. It's not easy. Some people, I've watched their lives, they can make impromptu decisions about things, and that just stresses me out.
If you can imagine us working together.
It's rough some days, but it's beautiful.
It teaches us so much patience and grace, and it's kind of a beautiful thing.
It is.
So,
Well, we hope y'all have a great time in your small groups, listen to each other's stories, receive them as gifts, and keep them as sacred things, whether they're funny, sad, all in between. We look forward to continuing our podcast. We've just got a couple more weeks. We'll take a break.
Hard to
after
believe
that,
it's almost.
and then do an Advent podcast.
Yeah.
I'm excited about.
Can't believe it's almost Advent.
I know.
This is wild.
So we'll see you guys soon. Take care.